Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's having fantastic Monday. Today is a holiday as well, Easter and all that stuff. So it's nice not going to work on Monday. I'm not gonna lie, it's very nice. Obviously tomorrow back to regular action, work and all that stuff. So yeah, but it is what it is. I guess it is what it is at the end of the day. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Arsenal today, transfer news, transfer updates, contract news, updates, all that good stuff. Yesterday, by the way, had a fantastic stream with the random Q&A and all this stuff. We talked about some random things. Obviously, it was also surrounding Arsenal to some extent. We talked about football, we talked about life and all this stuff. It was quite interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe in some near future when there will be maybe 1 year special or something like that, when this channel will be 1 year old specifically since the first upload, which is in less than a month, we will do another one or stuff like that, depending how the league is going, how Champions League is going, and everything. Yeah, as I said, we might do another one. Obviously, we talked about potentials of different channels and everything. It kind of got me thinking. I kind of put some stuff into action in some paperwork, if you will, by making some graphics as well, made some YouTube banners, made the YouTube profile picture and everything for different type of channel regarding a completely different type of contents and everything. I also set up the channel. Where I'm gonna upload or not, I'm currently not too sure, I'm not gonna lie. It's obviously all in the pipeline for now. But yeah, obviously if I decide to upload on that channel as well, sorry, it will directly affect this channel as well, of course. So obviously I still haven't it all figured out. Maybe we can discuss this in a different stream. But today, of course, we're gonna talk about Gyökeres. Apparently Arsenal have open talks with Gyökeres. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Huijsen also being wanted as one of the center back, the replacements potentially, or as backups as well. And of course, there are also talks about Skelly Nwaneri, who are very close to signing new deal for Arsenal. And more importantly, which is very weird, which came out of nowhere today, the fact that apparently, allegedly, God knows, go figure, Real Madrid apparently are looking at Bukayo Saka. That what just blew my mind. Genuinely, it was a laughing stock, and I just decided to include it in this stream just solely because, well, let's have a bit of a laugh in that regard. Let's just put it that way. Let's have a bit of a laugh. But yeah, of course, you know the drill. Subscribe if you're new around here. Smash the like button, helps the algorithm, helps everything and all this stuff. And leave your thoughts down in the live chat below so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and do all that good stuff, of course. And obviously, we're kicking things off with Gyökeres. As it says in the title, we're going to talk about Gyökeres first. Nathan already was here before the stream began, and he already said that... he already talked about this and said that if it's not Osimhen, then bring Gyökeres, of course. I don't want another month-long sagas. Get it done the day the window opens. And basically that looks like could be the precedent where we are heading with Andrea Berta more specifically, because Arsenal have been linked with some few targets, let's just put it that way. There have been talks that Arsenal are gonna sign some of those targets. Obviously you cannot trust them, because until I see the player holding up the shirt, I don't trust anything. I'm just talking about random rumors. But as it states also here, Arsenal have opened talks to sign Gyökeres in an early summer deal, which means, again, it looks like Arsenal finally is gonna take an approach where we are not gonna try and sign one player for 2 months, months and a half and everything. We're gonna try and do this as quickly as possible, of course. I just play devil's advocate here a bit, and I'm just gonna say I've heard this story before. We're gonna do deals quickly, we're gonna have a jam-packed summer, we're gonna maximize every single opportunity and all this stuff. We have heard it from Arteta for, well, years now, let's be real. And let's be real as well, we have never seen it. But apparently it looks like the tides might be shifting a bit, and it actually looks like it might happen. Negotiations are taking place behind the scenes to convince Gyökeres and put together a package to secure his signature. Apparently that looks like to be the way Arsenal are gonna do things. It looks like Gyökeres, as of now, at least for now, is the #1 target, which is actually quite nice thing to see, because given the situation that Arsenal before Gyökeres were linked with, obviously with Sesko and other players, and it looked like Sesko is the #1 target. As of now, it looks like actually Gyökeres is the #1 target. And to be honest, it stands to also with a point the fact that Andrea Berta is a big fan of Gyökeres, And as we've been talking about this, he wanted him also at Atletico Madrid. He didn't pan out, obviously, last summer. So it looks like it might be the case this summer. And why Arsenal are so interested now, might be pushing quite a bit more for Gyökeres, it's solely due to this. It's coming from Turkey. It's coming from quite a bit of places that Manchester United are allegedly have reached an agreement in principle with Victor Osimhen, which obviously for me personally, if Arsenal were going for a striker, it was Gyökeres, Osimhen, someone like that, definitely not Benjamin Sesko. And it looks like United have secured Osimhen. It looks that way. Obviously everything can change and everything is just an agreement in principle, which basically, let's be real, means nothing. Let's just put it that way. But obviously in Arsenal's terms of Arsenal have held talks behind closed doors and all this stuff behind the scenes are working. Gyökeres kind of means the same thing, I'm not gonna lie, so it is what it is. But it looks like Osimhen is the main target for Man United, and it looks like Gyökeres could be the main target for Arsenal in this regard. Now, credit where credit is due, it looks like Arsenal might be actually, as I said, seeing some change in the tides per se, and Arsenal actually might be going for some proper signings for a change. And they actually might be doing early in the window. And obviously, if you haven't heard as well, this year, due to Club World Cup, transfer window is going to be split in two parts. It's going to be open for a week and a half before the Club World Cup. Then the Club World Cup will happen. And whilst the Club World Cup is happening, the window is gonna be closed. And as soon as the Club World Cup ends, the window is gonna reopen once again. So it looks like it could happen in that regard, that Arsenal basically might be doing things before and after Club World Cup, and hopefully it actually works in our favor in this regard. But Gyökeres. Let me know in the chat, what do you think about Gyökeres? Are you happy if Arsenal sign Gyökeres? Are you happy? Would you be happy? Would you not be happy? Because as much as people were saying that Gyökeres is the man, the closer we get to transfer window, interestingly enough, I hear quite a bit of pushback in terms of Gyökeres signing for Arsenal, specifically from fans. And it also seems to come from the same fans who about half a year ago really wanted Gyökeres at Arsenal, which is very, very interesting how quickly the narratives, how quickly the ideas and how quickly the opinions of fans change. Obviously, as fans, we are entitled to that, the opinions change. And obviously, for example, if Arteta wins us something, my thoughts on Arteta also will change. But for now, you all know what are my thoughts on Mikel Arteta. So same goes for Gyökeres. For me, it was Gyökeres, Osimhen, I'm not gonna lie, Lautaro Martinez, and then it was Sesko. Sesko was nowhere near the list, especially last summer by the time when everyone was all glazing over him. Then it came, then there came talks about Gyökeres, and he was the next basically hot topic of the summer, and everyone's talking why Arsenal didn't sign Gyökeres. We would have done good with Gyökeres. Now all of a sudden, same people who said that we need Gyökeres, many say they don't want him. They much rather prefer Watkins for some weird reason, which is very, very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Whether it's due to the January situation or what, it's very weird to describe. I'm not gonna lie. Big up YouTube censors our free speech. Talks about should have been ongoing already. To be honest, yeah. Talks in everyone who we want to sign should be happening already. Obviously, we have heard for years, as I said, from Mikel Arteta, that we want to done job, sign players in every single transfer window as quickly as possible, so they have time to adapt to the team, adapt to the system, adapt to the squad, people, personalities, and get basically accustomed to their surroundings. But let's be real, over all the windows we have seen, we have never seen that. It usually takes us month and a half or so to sign a player, and obviously when the season begins, they barely have kicked the ball for Arsenal, not even in training. And now it looks like, as I said, there might be change in the tides. And as YouTube censors our free speech is saying, the talk should be already ongoing. Williams, Gyökeres, Osimhen, 2 out of 3 for sure. But to get all 3 would be such a statement to the fans and European football in general. We mean business. One thing I'm gonna say, given the situation Arsenal have right now with Jesus, Havertz, now also with Merino playing there, I don't see us signing two strikers. Only way I can see Arsenal signing two strikers is if in this summer specifically we sell Jesus and we sell Havertz. If we sell both of them, then I can see us going for two strikers. And even then, it wouldn't be Gyökeres and Osimhen, for example. Most likely it would be Gyökeres, maybe Jonathan David on a free or something like that. For us to sign two strikers, I think there needs to be a massive clear out in that striker department for sure. The problem with Osimhen is that he has never played at a struggling club like United. He does not track back. He's an old-fashioned forward who never comes back to defend, which he needs to do. And that is the case. And that is also one of the reasons I would assume why Mikel Arteta doesn't want him here. Why he doesn't fit into his plans. Osimhen is like more of a target man up top. We saw that at Napoli with Kvaratskhelia, with Politano on the wings and everything, like the crosses, the passes through. He predominantly stays up top and he waits for that dagger pass, basically thread the needle type of pass, the pass between the lines, the cross, everything to basically be at the end of it. So I kind of see why Arsenal are not going for Osimhen. Osimhen's injury record, obviously, it's not bad, let's be real. At the same time, given the amount of running he would be obligated to do at Arsenal, it also wouldn't work, I think. That is also a big reasoning why. Big up, Mike. Big up, Mike. Big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well today. And yeah, but that doesn't stop there, kinda. Obviously, Leandro Trossard for the game against, what's its face, who we just played, Ipswich Town, got man of the match, scored 2 goals. He actually was somewhat decent, so maybe, obviously against Ipswich Town, we didn't touch on Ipswich Town a lot. Obviously, yesterday we did more of a Q&A in like regular terms about things surrounding the world and life in general, not just as much as Arsenal. It looked like it will be something what we're gonna play against PSG. Obviously, Mikel Arteta said in an interview that he wants to keep still opponents guessing, keep the team guessing, right? At the same time, we need to kind of prepare for one game without Thomas Partey. That for Arsenal is the biggest thing. And to add on top of that, we need to also avoid injuries. Because Bukayo Saka was seen with ice pack tight on his Achilles, on his muscles and everything after the game. He wasn't limping as much as he usually does. He was moving quite gingerly, if that makes sense. But again, the tackle he received from Davis and everything for what he got the red card and how it all looked, it was a big risk. And obviously at the moment it doesn't look like it's gonna be that bad. At the same time, it is a worry for every single Arsenal fan. Of course, there is no surprise that Andrea Berta was in the attendance at the Portman Road against Ipswich Town, because he definitely is looking on every single player, every single game. After the season is over, he's going to sit down with Mikel Arteta and discuss the players he wants to get rid of and whether he can get Mikel Arteta's approval or not. Because the amount of times basically the camera has panned and turned to Andrea Berta specifically, and he has looked hella pissed, annoyed, bored, he's shaking his head looking at certain situations. Wouldn't be surprised if he wants to get rid of about 30-40% of the squad. I genuinely would not be surprised. That is obviously for him, Arteta, to decide how it's gonna go. But for now, we'll see what he's done. Some random stat of the day. Arsenal are unbeaten in the last 21 matches that Jakub Kiwior has started in all competitions. Which is very good thing for Jakub Kiwior. 21 games, 15 wins, 6 draws, 10 clean sheets. So every other game he plays for Arsenal, we keep a clean sheet. I'm praying, genuinely praying, that this form for him continues till the end of the season. Because that means we actually could win the Champions League if this keeps going. Because we can draw, we can win. That's against PSG, and then we can draw and win on penalties or something like that against Barcelona or Inter Milan, whoever we're gonna face in the final. Obviously, Barcelona has just suffered a bit of a loss potentially with Lewandowski's injury under question marks. Inter Milan have issues with Marcus Thuram as well. So not every single team is kind of ridiculed with injuries to some extent. So time only will tell how that is gonna develop. But this is all good for Jakub Kiwior, that we haven't lost with him at the wheel at Arsenal, which is very nice. Anyhow, just before we get into one of the big stories of the day, Let's see what you're saying. Does Gyökeres have buyout clause? He had buyout clause last summer, which was 100 million euros, about 95 something million pounds. This summer, apparently, this is all according to reports and rumors. You cannot take this for granted, but there have been so many of them that it should be true. It could be true. Basically, pick your poison. But there is talks that Gyökeres, and many reports as well, that he could be available for around between 65 and 70 million pounds. Basically, that is some sort of a gentleman's agreement he has with Sporting Lisbon for staying one more season there. And as soon as Sporting Lisbon gets an acceptable offer in that region, they will definitely throw everything at Gyökeres and make him decide whether he wants to go to that team or not at the end of the day. So time only will tell, but allegedly he has these price has come down quite a bit, so time only will tell. I see all promoted teams into Premier League this season going straight back down. Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich have done it. It's a huge gap to close for promoted teams. Yeah, that is definitely the case. That is definitely the case. And that is one of the biggest issues. Because if you recall, if you have watched football for 20 odd years, like specifically Premier League wasn't like this. Premier League wasn't like this. The mid-table lower-end teams used to have some big names. Remember, like Leeds, when they were actually somewhat good. They also had Rio Ferdinand. They had oh, bloody hell, the names are skipping my mind. Hasselbank and everyone else like that. They had some good players. They generally had some good players. Same goes for West Brom and things like that. Blackburn, Birmingham. Everyone had Stoke City. Everyone had some good players. And the minimal points you had to get to stay in Premier League was at least 39 or to 45, between that range of points. These days, as long as you get about 30 to 35, more or less you are guaranteed to stay up. That is the biggest thing. And in Premier League, the money, how it's been shifted around, how it's been distributed between the winners and everything, it's very, 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 very unfair to some extent. And I would also go to a controversial opinion in saying that there should be no parachute payments for the teams that go down. Because many times the team that goes down gets the parachute payments, and they more or less instantly come up within a season or two max. They instantly come up, and that's why you have these yo-yo teams: Southampton, Leicester, recent times, Ipswich. Not Ipswich as much, but Ipswich, Sheffield United, Burnley's coming back up. Leeds, it looks like they have figured shit out. Obviously, they have big new sponsors in Red Bull now, so definitely that's gonna definitely boost them definitely in Premier League to be actually somewhat good. Definitely they will be able to afford to buy some good players. They need to fix their defense a bit. They definitely need a new goalkeeper because Melier is genuinely useless. But today, yeah, Burnley and Leeds United secured promotion into Premier League. Obviously, it remains to be seen who's the third team that's gonna come up. But ultimately, yeah, the parachute payments for teams that go down should not be a case. Because Luton Town was last year in Premier League. They got all the parachute payments, and they are now looking at potential relegation at the end of this season as well to League One. Like, it makes no sense. Like, genuinely makes no sense. So, it's a very long discussion we can have at some stage during summer. But currently, I'm just not a big fan of it, genuinely. I'm not a big fan of the same teams more or less doing jump rope up and down like yo-yos. Personally, we need to sign a left back. Skelly is great, but he should be in the midfield, and he will have natural technical left back other than Tierney. Tierney is leaving, so we need someone else. So we technically need two if you want to play Skelly in the midfield. That is also a big issue here. But I think Arteta is gonna stick with Skelly as a left back, and he's gonna sign another one potentially. That is one of the big things. That is one of the big things, because Skelly having that and everything, like, for me, Skelly is a midfielder, obviously. But for Skelly, he needs another left back, obviously, because we need also a proper left back. Because, as we all know, Skelly is not a left back. He's still lacking defensively, especially in that regard. He looks so good as a left back because he has the pace, he has strength, he's very technical and good on the ball as a midfielder, which basically helps him a lot in that regard. I know in the midfield he would do also fantastically well. There's no argument about that. So, yeah, we definitely will need a left back, but we definitely don't need two. Oh yeah, Deji debuted for Arsenal. Yeah, almost scored as well and everything. That was kind of nice to see for a change. Took only like almost a year, but he actually made it there. Kind of nuts. Obviously, there's a chance you won't see him ever again, so bear with me. No parachute payments for teams relegated for the championship. I would hire. Basically, yeah. Basically. But that is the case. Think about it. Luton Town had to basically rebuild their whole stadium just to have the permission to play in Premier League. Most of the parachute payments went to that to pay it off, and then the rest of the money basically went God knows where, because you cannot be a Premier League side, then lose, then get all this stuff, all this money, and then now be battling for staying up in Championship. That just proves how mismanaged they have mismanaged the funds. But again, for me, that is a big thing. The parachute payments, as I realize how good they are for teams that are going down, the promotional final from 3rd to 6th, basically, that they have in Championship is the most expensive final when it feels like in history of football and everything, right? There should, for teams that are going down, in my opinion, they can get the TV revenue they should be getting, commercial deals they should be getting. At the same time, the parachute payments should not be a thing. Even if they are, make them 10 times less, basically. Because teams just, it's become so predictable these days. The team that goes basically down, comes up basically is going to go down 9 out of 10 times. You very rarely see teams staying up to be on consistent basis. Leicester stayed up for a few seasons. They managed to win the league in that time. They also went down, obviously. Same goes for Sheffield United. They came up. They got the worst record in history. The second or third worst record in history of Premier League, and they went back down instantly. Now they got the parachute payments. They are in contention to coming back up again this season. Like, what the hell is that about? Same goes for Burnley. They were in Premier League last season. They got pummeled by company, under company and everything. They went down. They signed some players. They loaned some players out. They signed some players in, and bang, they're back up again. Like, it's something that needs to be basically revamped to a very big extent, because it's unfair to other teams in Championship, because in my opinion, Championship is the hardest league to get out of. It's the easiest league to get in. Basically, you get relegated from Premier League, maybe not getting promotion from League One, obviously, but it's the easiest league, it's the hardest league to get out of. Let's just say it that way in promotional wise, right? So there should be something in everything to give incentives for teams to play, to teams to win and everything. For example, I like how La Liga has the money distributed between the teams. They get like a third or quarter paid basically by the place you finish, third of the TV revenue and third of something like that. There are no insane parachute payments that makes you 10 times better than the teams that are basically in League 2. So in England, it feels like it's ass backwards. Genuinely, it feels like it's ass backwards. Because to some extent, it feels like it's better to finish 18th than finish 17th. Yes, you get the TV rights for the next season, but what's the point in being basically 17th, staying up, right? If the next season you get destroyed and you go down. Let's just put it that way. It makes genuinely zero sense. It's something wrong there. Left back, right center back, backup, center mid who can play. Yeah, basically, we need 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, striker, winger, backup goalkeeper, and someone. We need about 7-8 players in the summer. Yeah, and a striker who can score goals. Big up G-Star, big up my guy. Big up. And we also need a cam who can carry the ball, break defenses. Yeah. And that was something I wanted to talk about. We're gonna get to this comment specifically in a second. We're gonna get to it, Marlon. Just bear with me on the stream. We're gonna get to that in a second. Luton are actually building a new stadium now. Parachute payments are definitely being spent on that. Definitely, exactly. And while they're building the stadium, they're gonna get big chance they're gonna get relegated in League 1. That is also a case. They're gonna get relegated into League 1. Look at the Championship table, right? 2-0. Wait, let me check this quickly. Who scored? Chris Wood scored. Shocking. Look at the Championship table, right? Look, Leeds are coming up together with Burnley. That's guaranteed. They can lose both games. It means nothing. Look at Luton Town. Genuinely look at Luton Town. Luton, Luton, however you want to pronounce it, don't care. Right? Look at them. They are 46 points. They are on the, due to goal difference, they are below Derby County, right? They are one win away from being basically 19, like 19, something like that. And they are actually, they are one win away to being basically 20th, and they are one loss away from being last, pretty much. Like, and this is where all the parachute payments are going. Like, and then you look at the teams who have recently been in Premier League. Burnley are coming right up. Sheffield potentially coming right up, right? Leeds haven't been in Premier League for 2 years. They always ball it, but now they have done it. So it will be interesting how they do with their new ownership, partial ownership of RB Leipzig, right? Look, West Brom was some time ago, but they were still in Premier League. They're battling mid-table teams. Norwich as well. They were such a good team. They had such promising players, you know, Cantwell, Aarons, players like that. Now they're in mid-table team at best, right? There are many teams, and some of them have even dropped even lower. So, like, it's actually kind of nuts. It's genuinely kind of nuts, if you ask me. We need to do something. We have like 3-4 goalkeepers. Exactly. This needs to be sorted out. That is one of the biggest things. We need a backup goalkeeper. We have Carl Hein on loan, by the way, at Real Valladolid, who is injured there, by the way, at the moment. But hey, right? And all this stuff, we're going to talk about everything. We need a backup goalkeeper. Backup goalkeeper is going to play 7 to 10 games a season at best. Let's be real. Raya is going to be the number one. But ultimately, think about it. Genuinely think about it. Because promoting a youth goalkeeper would make sense. But is he worth just basically dragging him along across the whole Europe every single week and basically not gaining any game time? It also is kind of neglection of everything. Roziak, Francis, Saladin, Jimmy Grauer, Kabish, also Gok Jr., where they play Andre Anush. So a good, we have many good talents. Don't forget we let go Kozer Dewberry and everything. We let go for Kozer Dewberry to, not Kozer Dewberry, Brighton right winger who is on loan at Millwall at the moment. Oh my goodness, my brain is generally skipping all the names. Yeah, Spurs are losing, lol. Spursy! Only we, the only team, has less than under 23 players playing 10 plus matches. We barely use under 23 players if they don't play how... Exactly! And yet, 2 years ago, every single top Gunner was screaming, look, we have the youngest squad in the team, lots of potential and everything. Because Saka was still young, Saliba, Gabriel was 25 at the time. Well, no, yeah, 25 I think. Or something like that. Martinelli was young. Everyone was still young. Now they're getting older and it's starting to push. We don't have that many youngsters. Only Skelly and Nwaneri are playing of the youngsters. And ironically enough, they also were not the first choice of Mikel Arteta. The circumstances forced him to play them there. That's about it. If there were no such circumstances, they probably would have never gotten a kick. Think about it that way as well. Look at Conor Bradley playing against Real in Champions League and doing good 18. He old Kubrasi as well. Kubrasi. Asensio as well. He's only 19 if I'm not mistaken for Real Madrid and everything. Oyedeji debut showed he's great. Arteta needs... We'll see. Maybe Oyedeji will get a bigger chance against Crystal Palace during the week. Maybe. Yeah. Spurs are playing today. And currently they're 2-0 down. Girona are losing 1-0. Who scored? Johnny Cardozo, Isco assisted. Big up, Isco is a baller. And of course, Spurs being Spurs, at home specifically, losing 2-0 currently against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, only us don't play our academy kids. Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Miles Lewis Skelly would have gotten a kick if Calafiori doesn't get injured and Zinchenko, Arteta doesn't rate. It's pretty much evident at the moment, right? And Kiwior, he just also doesn't want to play at left back anymore. It's also very evident because he plays him as a center back. And Tierney, he also doesn't rate. So it basically was he got forced by the situation. Nwaneri as well. Odegaard got injured. He didn't play at all in number 10. Then Saka gets injured. He also didn't play there at all. He played Havertz there, Martinelli, Trossard. He played everyone there until basically the fan base had to make a massive uproar online for Arsenal media team to see this, to basically forcefully make Arteta to play him there. And what a good revelation he has been, let's be real. And speaking of those two, they are very close to signing a new deal at Arsenal. Andrea Berta is concluding the final details and it's gonna be also done soon. Is Anthony playing? Let's check. Is Anthony playing? Is Anthony playing? Yeah, Anthony's playing. Anthony's playing right wing. He is. Anyways, see, Saka is as well. Saka are progressing very well with talks with Andrea Berto over new deal. Saka will become the highest paid player at the club with the new deal, which to be honest should be the thing in the first place. Saka is the one who has carried this team on his back, single-handedly to some extent, for the last 4 years. And how is he not the highest paid player, but someone like Havertz, Jesus, and some of those guys are? It's a mystery to me, let's be real. Nwaneri number 10, Skelly number 3. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Moving on. These are two random things I just wanted to mention on a split second here. There's no argument that AC Milan are struggling currently, right? Conceição took over in mid-season, right? And Sergio Conceição chapter at AC Milan still expected to be over at the end of the season. No changes expected for both Conceição and João Felix, both expected to be out of AC Milan in the summer. João Felix is going to return to Chelsea. And why am I talking about this? Is more specifically, I'm talking about Conceição here. This is the standards of AC Milan. Conceição came in mid-season, hadn't coached AC Milan whatsoever. In span of 2 games, he beat Juventus in semi-finals, he beat Inter Milan in the final, and won the Italian Cup. In 2-3 games it took him, he won the Italian Cup. And that was that was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. And they already want him gone. Because in Serie A they're struggling. Despite the fact that he has won a trophy already. Like, make it make sense. Like, seriously. This is the standards I want. League position and trophies mean everything. Trophies doesn't matter here. It's only going by league position all of a sudden. It's all off by league position all of a sudden. And top Gunners say, as long as we see progression in the league, I want Arteta to stay. The only progression Arteta can do right now in the league is going first. He has been second 2 times in a row. Potentially is going to be second 3rd time. Progression would be second. But there's also a way to be second. We were second with 5 points behind 2 seasons ago. We were 2 points behind last season. Now we're going to be in double digits behind. Which means we have gotten worse. And to make things even worse, Man City has dropped off. Yet we got told that this team is ready to win the league when Man City drop off. Oh, Arne Slot comes in, season 1, no signings at all, wins the league, bang, like that. Like, and on top of that, the big teams also are sucks basically this season as well. This was another opportunity. This legit kind of reminds me of the season when Leicester won the league. We had the chance, we again didn't took it, as we always do it. Same thing, nothing has changed, only instead of Leicester we have Liverpool this season. And this is what Jamie Vardy said about Leicester getting relegated from Premier League. And look at the standards of this guy. Look at the standards of this guy. At this point, I don't even know what to say. No words I have can express my feelings of anger and sadness with the way this season has gone. There are no excuses. No excuses. Collectively, as players and as a club, we failed. There's simply no hiding, and I refuse to entertain any suggestion of doing so. Having been at this club for so long, we've experienced so many highs and success, and this season has been nothing but miserable, and for me personally, a total embarrassment. It hurts, and I know you're feeling it too. To the fans, I'm sorry. Sorry we haven't performed, and sorry we end 2025 season with such a shit show. These are the standards of a guy called Jamie Vardy. He plays for Leicester City, by the way. It's not like a player who plays for a big team. He plays for Leicester City. He has won it all, besides Champions League. He has won FA Cup, he has won Premier League. He has done it. And he has done it at being like 50 years old almost. And he's holding himself and Leicester City to higher standard than most of our fan base is holding the 3rd biggest club in England and one of the biggest clubs in the world. Make it make bloody sense. Seriously, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Yeah. Valverde is back. The goal Valverde scored yesterday. Oh my god. Valverde only scores bangers, by the way. Valverde only scores bangers. Yeah, big up to Kivior. It's a surprising thing what happens when you actually play guys as center back and not as a left back. Surprising when you play players in their natural positions. Surprising, isn't it? Same goes for Zinchenko. Only reason why Kivior and Zinchenko got so much stick, for example, right, is that because they got played out of position. We didn't want to see them there. We didn't, but we got to. So if you play them there, it's manager's choice. Manager got all the stick and the players as well. But all of a sudden, Zinchenko plays in the 10, he plays better than Odegaard. Kivior plays center back. All of a sudden, Kivior is the best thing since sliced bread. Merino as well. I already done all the thing. Already have done the thing. If you don't follow the streams, you can shove it. Shit. What do you think of Tottenham? Big up Nathan, they're shit. 2-0 at home against Nottingham Forest. Big up. Oh, this one. Who is ready for some laughter today? Who wants to laugh with me today? I thought April Fool's was 3 weeks ago. Legitimately 3 weeks ago. But apparently Real Madrid are reportedly ready make a bid to sign Bukayo Saka this summer if they sell either Vinny Jr. or Rodrigo. I genuinely thought April Fool's was 3 weeks ago. What the actual F are we seeing here? Seriously. Seriously, what the hell are we actually seeing here? Exactly, that is the biggest thing. Because he is a center back, not a left back. But Arteta plays him there. So he has to hold some stick as well. Arteta holds stick and everyone's holds stick. And everything. Real Madrid, don't fuck up. 250 million free. Yeah, Real has actually very good, not as good academy anymore, but they still have very good and solid academy. The Castilla academy is actually very good. Surprisingly, they haven't had. Ironically enough, if you think about it, for all the Real Madrid academy, they don't have that many attackers these days. Recent times, think about recent times, the attackers that have come through Real Madrid academy and they have in their team, there's none. Like seriously, there's none. Joselu was the last one, and even that he got cut short of Real Madrid. He then went to Borussia Dortmund. He was at Stoke City. He went to Espanyol, by the way, and then Real Madrid loaned him back after 50 years. Like, seriously, that's actually kind of nuts. Crazy, because isn't Raul in charge? Wait. Raul, yeah. Oh, no, he's gonna step down. Raul is gonna step down at the end of the current season. I'm very sorry you cannot see this. Maybe you can see it this way, right? Oh, it's very wide. I'm sorry, I cannot do it. Apparently, according to reports, Raul is gonna step down at the end of this season. Raul is gonna step down this season. Big up, Isak. Big up. Big up, big up, big up. Big up, Arsenal for life. Yeah. Saka going lifetime contract till 2050, dude. You wanna say Saka is gonna play till he's what, 55, 53? I thought y'all said y'all could make talent go make exactly. 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 And even then, Real Madrid don't spend big on players. Well, they do if they really want someone, but they are not gonna spend like 200, 250 million for Bukayo Saka, let's be real. Like seriously. Like what the hell? I would give Saka a 10-year deal. To be honest, wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. But this was genuinely like April Fool's coming to life these days. April Fool's coming to life when I read it today. This was actually kinda nuts. This was kinda nuts. City did something like that. He has like a deal till like 2032 or something like that. Haaland has contract, yeah, he has a 10-year deal at Man City. He has. He genuinely has. He has the amounts basically spread out, but yeah. That is the big thing. Exactly. We make talent and develop them. I genuinely hope the days when Arsenal are just being a selling club for some of their best guys like Cesc, Nwaneri, and all these people are gone. I just want us to keep them and win with them something. Otherwise, all of them leave and they win everything elsewhere. I'm sick and tired of that. Let's be real. Yeah, we need to lock Saka down. Exactly. Bro will be here to piss us off forever. But yeah, it is what it is. In other news, there is something weird regarding this. Apparently, Arsenal are interested in Lazio midfielder Nicolo Rovella. Not sure how true is that, but it is what it is. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, Arsenal are also interested. Not sure if it's true or not. Time only will tell, but hey, it is what it is. Arsenal want to finalize Nico Williams' deal. According to Fish Eyes, obviously the Fish Eyes, as we all know them as Fish Eyes, not the most trustworthy place, but Arsenal are now serious about signing Williams and see him as a player who can contribute from the very beginning of his time at Emirates. One of the best wingers in the world. Wouldn't say that. He has still lots to prove, but hey, it is what it is. Has been a key player for Bilbao this season. Key player, you know. I'm sorry. Key player for Bilbao this season. He has worse stats than Martinelli, by the way. He has 5 goals and 5 assists in La Liga. I think Martinelli has better stats in Premier League. He's the key player, you know. That is actually kind of very bold statement in that regard. Sunset is doing better at Bilbao, I'm not gonna lie. Sunset is doing better. Guruzeta is doing very good. Iñaki Williams is doing better. See? Martinelli, same games, 7 goals, 4 assists. He's doing better. That is actually kind of nuts if you ask me. Key player, you know. Where is that coming from? Big up boy Tendio. Big up. Both Timber and White are also CBs first and foremost, by the way. To me too. To be honest, yeah. Timber started as a center back, then he moved to right back at Ajax. And to be honest, I wouldn't want him any other way. Timber, Ben White is very good as a center back if you play 3 at the back. Then White is very good. In 2 center back formation, he has questionable situations, let's just put it that way. Because remember when he just joined Arsenal, he was shocking at center back. To many times. And until Arteta decided to put him as a right back. And then he actually become one of the best right backs in the league, arguably. Obviously, Timber now has overtaken that, but it is what it is. Tomiyasu is one of those interesting ones, because for Bologna, he played right back, center back, and all across the pitch. But due to injuries, he has to go. I'm sorry. People keep hyping Rovella. Yeah, they keep doing that. People keep hyping Rovella, which for me is very, very, very weird. It's very weird because, yes, he is good for Lazio in that, but I much rather sign Ederson from Atalanta. Much rather sign Ederson from Atalanta. There's too much transfer talk. The club should complete the signing now before the win. Exactly. That is, for me, one of the biggest things. There's so much transfer rumors regarding Arsenal specifically, which in the past has never been good. Never been good, because it many times means we are not getting the player. Obviously, with Andrea Berta coming in, there is hope that definitely would change, right? And it looks like, again, this is all according to rumors and reports from journalists, ITKs, obviously, and all that crap. Arsenal want to do business quickly. They want to do everything before, till mid-July. They want to sign everyone in June till mid-July, ultimately. So they can have a proper pre-season when we play Spurs, AC Milan, Liverpool, I think, and all those teams with the main squad, obviously. So it looks like there might be a shift in the tides, but I'm not too sure as well still. Timber and Benny Blanco are better as right backs. Exactly. Is we don't have center back backups other than Kivior, and Big Gubby will play too much. For me, to be honest, right center back should be Timber if push comes to shove. And left center back is Kivior or Calafiori. Because for me, none of them are left backs. Not Kivior, not what's its face, Calafiori, none of them are left backs. Because whenever they have played left backs, you can see how they get exposed too much. And that for me is a big, big worry, hence why I still think we need left backs. I'm still not convinced, neither am I. Neither am I. The issue is, we had perfect opportunity in winter for 65 million to sign Kvaratskhelia. We didn't, and now we are basically left with Nico Williams, by the looks of things, obviously. Plays in small games like against the bottom teams, and Gabi will play with this big six. Something like that, maybe rotational. Trossard has the same amount of league goals as Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. True, see, it's actually nuts. Biggest talent, next goat, Yamal has the same league goals as so-called average players Nelly and Trossard. I think Yamal is a bit of a different one, isn't it? He has assists though, doesn't he? I think he has quite a bit of assists. I think. I don't pay too much attention to these stats. Yeah, see? 14 assists. That is nuts, if you ask me. He has 14 assists. That is nuts. And if we go to Rafinha, who actually is the starlet of this Barcelona team, ironically enough, this season. Look at these stats. 30 games, 15 goals, 11 assists. That is, in Champions League, 12 goals, 7 assists in 12 games. Like, that is something unique. Rafinha is genuinely absolutely nuts under Hansi Flick. Wish we got him, I'm not gonna lie, to some extent, when Leeds were selling him and he decided to go there. Trossard is like twice Yamal's age, yeah. Exactly. Yep, saying stuff like that about Yamal is completely different. That's like comparing, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo to Butler or Yadeji to some extent. None of them have any goals in Premier League this season. Wasn't Williams staying? Now we are finalizing. Exactly, that's the biggest thing. It's the same as with Zubimendi. In February, we got told that Zubimendi, it's done, it's signed, he's coming to Arsenal. First things first, he has release clauses. Release clauses, you pay the money and he comes to your club. You cannot pre-sign on pre-contract type of situation on release clauses, which means he is staying there. Then in March, we get told Arsenal are in talks with Sociedad and Zubimendi of signing him. Come April, Real Madrid are signing Zubimendi. Now same goes for Nico Williams. Nico Williams has release clauses. Pay the money, he comes, he doesn't. That's at the end of the day. It's actually kind of nuts how these journalists lie all across the time, pretty much. And basically, they say these things to get clicks and interactions, but always in the statement, there is always this catchphrase, if you will, the buzzword, could, should, maybe, and stuff like that. So just in case the deal doesn't go the way they have described it before, they have a way to backtrack it. Basically to write that, well, there was talks, there was possibility that they could sign him, but they didn't. He decided to go to Real Madrid. There's always that one backtrack position. They always leave a way out. They always leave their back door open. Pause. I was told by the newspapers that Zubimendi was as good as Arsenal player, ergo I will expect Zubimendi to be announced as an Arsenal sign. Exactly. Same. I'm expecting Zubimendi to be at the carpet in, well, not the biggest fan of Zubimendi per se, but if Arsenal want him, it is what it is, right? If Arsenal sign Zubimendi, I expect Zubimendi holding up Arsenal's shirt latest July. In June already, because the transfer window, I think, Premier League transfer window in summer 2025 opens in 1st of June. It opens of the 1st of June, then it's open till the 10th, right? Then there's Club World Cup, and then it opens again on June 16 and closes on September 1st. So I expect in that time from June 1st till June 10th for Arsenal to show Zubimendi and Gyökeres. I'm expecting already that, right now. That's it. If it's as advanced and is on fire as they are describing this. Oh yeah, Yamal, you can see Yamal play with your eyes closed. Yamal might be better than... That's way too early to tell. That's way too early to tell, but he definitely has chances to be arguably the best winger in the world. If he's close to that already, by the way, and he has chance to win numerous Ballon d'Ors as well, as long as he avoids injuries. Also, Ta and Ola Aina both are free agents. We need to get at least one. Exactly. Jonathan Ta as a center back backup, why not? Ola Aina as a left back option, why not? He can also play right back. Jonathan David as a striker backup option on a free, why not? There are quite a few free agent topics. We might actually do a stream where we just talk about potential free agents that contracts run out at the end of the season. What the fuck is man do? Apparently, United have agreed a deal with, in principle with Osimhen as well, so that will be interesting to see how that pans out. And they want Osimhen, Williams too. Exactly. That's the thing. No matter how shit United are doing, they always have the pull because they are the Manchester United. Ta 100%, Kahim, Kivias backups plus left back. Exactly. Ta and Olaine, both of them, fantastic to be honest if you ask me. One is a left back, can play right back, so we don't have to see, I don't know, someone else as a right back if we don't want to. And the other one can play as a center back, why not? We need center mid who can play number 6, that's a very broad spectrum by the way. You need a midfielder who can play all midfield options. That is not gonna happen. 100% I can tell you that much. I like Zubimendi, only worry about physicality and what happens with Odegaard, but Rise Zubimendi and Odegaard. That's the thing. Rise Zubimendi Odegaard is a very weak midfield. Our number 6 in Zubimendi, he's gonna get run over by Onana, Rogers, Joe Linton, Tonali, Guimaraes. They genuinely gonna stomp him into the ground. That's what they are doing right now with Odegaard every time we play them. So, that already is a worrying sign. And a striker, definitely. Gyökeres, give me. Bin Odegaard, yes. If there was a possibility to sell Odegaard and sign, for example, Musiala or Wirtz, I would be all over that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, good idea. Berta usually... Exactly, Berta usually gets free agents. The biggest issue with this is, though, Arsenal as a club, they don't sign free agents. Well, only the shit ones like Cedric Suarez and Willian and crap like that, right? We as a club don't sign free agents, which is also a big mystery why. Because there are many summers, there are very good free agent options we can sign, and there's a possibility to get. And we never utilize that market whatsoever. We always brush it aside. And if you think, for example, in recent times, players that PSG got for free, like from free agency, Asensio, Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, Messi, obviously they didn't pan out, as you probably would have expected for the club. But they got some massive players on a free. Real Madrid got Rudiger, Mbappe, players like that, Trent, right? Obviously, again, time only will tell how that's gonna work, but again, they got some big names for free. Aston Villa got Yuri Tielemans for free. At the time when they signed Yuri Tielemans, I was gutted that we didn't get Yuri Tielemans for free. Think about it. Aston Villa's midfield of Tielemans, Rogers, and Kamara or Onana overall cost 70-80 million combined. Arsenal's midfield combined cost what? 105, 155, 30, 200 million. Like seriously, what are we doing here? I get that, totally get that. Squad depth, definitely. Rudiger, Mbappe, Trent, and... Exactly, that's the biggest thing. That sounds hella crazy when you think about it. They got all of them for free. Obviously, signing on fees are mad when you... And agent fees are insane when you sign players on free, right? At the same time, still, at the end of the day, it's cheaper than the buying player from the club, especially when you sign that big of a name as those players. Big up, Abigail, big up. We need Partey next season. I agree. I'm not gonna lie, I agree. Obviously, at the end of last season, I said that I would let Partey go because he genuinely was playing like a 50-year-old granddad with a cane walking around the pitch. But this season, he has stayed injury-free, he has built his confidence, and you could put a very strong argument that he has been our best midfielder this whole season. Plus playing a big portion of the games as a right back as well on top of that. So definitely, I would want Partey to stay. The biggest thing is, if Partey stays, not so sure I would sign him on a starting role though. Maybe as a rotational player, maybe as a type of that role, and definitely he also should be signed on a salary cut because currently he's on what, 200 grand a week, something like that. He definitely would need to take a salary cut Because signing a party, for example, even on 2-year deal, on 240, 250 grand a week would be genuinely like shooting ourselves in the foot. 100%. So definitely we need to look at those situations, but definitely that is also a case we definitely should explore. Obviously, we talked about this. Real Madrid approved 120 million euro Bukayo Saka signing after ace passes test. Real Madrid are ready to splash out 120 million euros, which is about 110 million pounds, on Arsenal's talisman Bukayo Saka amid mounting fears one of even both of Vinicius and Rodrigo will leave potentially the Premier League, according to reports. Exactly, 120 million euros, that's 110 million pounds, you know. 100 I'm sorry. If Southampton want 100 million for Dibbling and what's its face? Crystal Palace want 100 million for Wharton, Brighton want 100 million for Baleba and crap like that. 200 minimum for Bukayo Saka, and even then it would be a debate. Like, what are we doing here? 120 million! Holy crap! That is just embarrassing. I genuinely, as I said, when I read this, I genuinely thought it was April Fool's. Kid you not, I thought it was April Fool's when I read this. It's kinda insane when you think about it. Arsenal, apparently for Arsenal as well, there is no room obviously for sentimentality in football and blah blah blah. Basically, Slovenian striker, there's Cherki. Basically, the most of this is about Huijsen. Arsenal have been linked with him. Arsenal are looking for a backup for their center back positions, and their report does not mention potential price, but it's rumored about 50 million release clauses. And Arsenal have maintained still a strong interest in Dean Huijsen as a potential backup center back position. Would you take him? That for me is the biggest question. Saka is our own. Besides, I don't think exactly. I genuinely don't think Saka will go. There probably is no money that we would actually sell him though as well. It's similar like when Lamine Yamal during Euros said, "Have you heard about PSG interest?" Right? And Yamal answered to the reporter saying, "If they want to buy me, they can buy me on FIFA." That's pretty much what Bukayo Saka and Andrea Berta is going to do to Real Madrid. If you want Bukayo Saka, just go buy him on FIFA and just piss off. Yeah, definitely. He would block Perez on WhatsApp. Definitely. 240. Flammable. Bigger flammable. You would sell Bukayo Saka for 240 million. That's nearly $250 million, by the way. You would sell Bukayo Saka for 240 million? You really would? 50 million is too much. For Huijsen, the biggest thing about Huijsen is his age and the fact how good is he performing for Bournemouth. If you ask me, I much rather sign Murillo from Nottingham Forest or something like that. By the way, Spurs are still losing 2-0 to Nottingham Forest at home. We can all laugh at Spurs, by the way, if you want to. We can still laugh at Spurs. By the way, if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here, aiming to hit 500 subscribers as soon as possible. Isco, Anthony has scored. This is for, what's its face? Marlon, hello. Anthony has scored for Real Betis. He likes Anthony, by the way, that's why I'm saying this. And Isco is one of my favorite players still to this day. He also has scored. Anthony called. You see, Huijsen has scored 2 goals, 1 assist. Not bad, actually. 7 yellows, that's not great. But yeah, he has played 3 games. He has played 27 games in Premier League. He just signed last summer for 15 million euros. That's what, 12 million pounds? That's a bargain of the century if they manage to get him for 50, if they manage to sell him for about 50 million. That is bargain of the century. I'm not gonna lie. How many clean sheets does he have? That's the biggest question. 27 Premier League games. Let's check how many clean sheets does he have. 1. He was on the bench against Arsenal when Arsenal lost to Bournemouth, by the way. That is kind of nuts. Anyways, how many clean sheets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clean sheets out of 27 games. So every 4th game he gets a clean sheet. He's so expensive because he's only 20. And he just signed, basically. That's why he is so expensive. I would assume so. Plus he had somewhat decent for Bournemouth. Kivior is really playing well. I don't think we still need a center back. Now, see, the talk is not about center back per se, but for having a backup for Saliba. Because we can all talk about Timber being a backup. We can talk about White being a backup. But if there are backups for those positions, we don't have right back backups. And our right center back spot is the one that doesn't have a proper backup in general. We have for Gabriel, we have Kivior. Technically, we also have Calafiori, if you want to think it that way. And the right center back spot is the one big issue. Because remember 2 seasons ago when we were 8 points clear, Saliba got injured, we had to play Rob Holding there. That went well, didn't it? And we basically capitulated from there. So yeah, we definitely need a right center back option as a backup. Anthony Cole, we're planning of renewing. I hope so. The question is, will they agree on the deal? Will Party agree on the deal, and will they agree to the deal? Because there's also some shenanigans off the pitch. We all know those about handcuffs and all that stuff. We are not going to get into it, but that's also still revolving around Party. And obviously there's no proof that it's him or not, but there are rumors surrounding that it could be. So bear with me there right now. Freaking hell, my cough is not going away. Any other news? Any other news? Any other news? Regarding Arsenal. Butler Odeji debuted, obviously. Gyökeres to Arsenal. Come on, let's do this. I want to talk about what Nwaneri said, which Marlon mentioned. In the mid part of the stream. I want to talk about that. Where is Nwaneri, speaking of being a number 10? Till he moves to 10. Nwaneri. I cannot find it because I read it yesterday or 2 days ago, where Nwaneri was speaking about his position, where he has played the most, and he said that he has played mostly through the middle, and that is his best position. Playing on the wing, it's a new experience for him, and that is completely out of the blue for him, and he definitely hasn't ruined that. Oh, by the way, if you have missed, it looks like United are going after Osimhen. They have reached agreement in principle, so time only will tell how that develops, obviously. I don't remember where Nwaneri was talked about this. Squad, Gabriel, Slot are progressing well. Sapast, Arshavin, Zeta, Zinchenko. Ed Sheeran gifted Rice a guitar. Daylight, blah blah blah. Where is it? Similarly managed to find. Yeah, Nwaneri scored. That is great. I cannot find it, unfortunately. I genuinely cannot find it. So let's see what you're saying in the chat. Adaptation for Gyökeres in English will be. It will be easy. That's the biggest thing. It will be easy because Gyökeres used to play for Coventry. He was one of the best players in Championship at the time, 3 seasons ago, when he was at Coventry. So it won't be a problem. He played for a few years in Coventry, so he definitely knows the English and the English, man. He knows the English, and there will be no problem. He was already a bully there when he was in the Championship. If you haven't seen, so there won't be such an issue with Gyökeres in general for changing and adapting to the Premier League and all this stuff. That was 22-23 season, if I'm not mistaken. See, in Championship, in 46 games, he had 21 goals and 10 assists. He was very good in Championship at the time. So there will be no problem. Yeah, but you said that was in Championship, but he now plays in the big leagues. Obviously, Portuguese league is a bit different, but he also has done it in Champions League as well. He scored a hat-trick against Man City. So definitely there will be no problems with that. I don't think it's such a big thing, especially given the fact that Championship is more physical than Premier League, as weird as it sounds. And Championship is more of a scrap than actual game. So I think in Premier League he will do well. I generally believe he will do well. Man, I don't find. I think we should manage Saka's. We should, but what will Arteta do is the biggest issue, biggest question. What he will put out against Crystal Palace during the week? Will it be Nwaneri? Because in a week we play against PSG, or what? Because Bukayo Saka already had his had his leg taped up with ice and everything. So that is the big question. What's gonna happen there? Do I have a picture? No, I don't, unfortunately. I don't have a picture for that. So time only will tell how that develops and how that goes. But yeah, Saka should only play against the big six. For me personally, he's only needing the big six games. Liverpool, not enough. Saka has to play. That's not enough. Not enough. Isak will be the but for me, I don't. Isak doesn't fit our system the way we play. As weird as it sounds, and it should be up to Mikel Arteta to fix the system so it works. But for us, how we play it, he doesn't fit the system. There's questions about his injury record as well. Let's be real. And for 150, 160 million that Newcastle want, we can sign Gyökeres, Nico Williams, and still have money left over. That is the biggest thing. You either sign one massive signing, and you have no money. Well, you get what I mean. Not money, no money as in no money, but you have spent much more money. Or you sign Gyökeres for 70, Nico Williams for 50, and you still have 30 left over of the 150 in general, which means you can sign someone else if you need to. And Isak as well. For me, the way Newcastle play, the counters and everything, I think Isak is very good when they tend to play in open spaces. And Arsenal don't have open spaces whatsoever. We have everyone camped on the edge of the box and the mid-low blocks, and I don't think Isak is most useful in that environment. I think Gyökeres would be more useful in that regard. Maybe Odeji should start. Maybe we can put that to the test, but obviously after the Crystal Palace game we will have a week off. We play PSG only after a week. There will be no games during weekend, which means Arteta can do whatever he wants, and that for me is a big worry. Because he may think, oh, we have a week off, so I might play Saka, Partey, and everything. I was kind of shocked Partey didn't play, by the way. Because Partey cannot even play against PSG, so why rest him? Obviously, we didn't need him, but in those terms. Isak is good against big teams. Well, that's not a bad thing, let's be real, but we need someone who can do it against everyone. And that is also because big teams attack. Smaller teams park the bus, and where he has no room or space, he actually is not as usable. Let's just put it that way. If we play Bournemouth, Brighton on the other teams, he won't help us at all. Exactly. That is for me the biggest thing. He won't help us at all. I think Gyökeres would help us for us in that regard. But yeah, I think in those terms, definitely it is much. There's lots up to debate and lots to discuss in that regard. I'm not gonna lie. So time only will tell. But yeah, half-time still in Spurs game. It's still 2-0 Nottingham Forest. It's 3-0 still for Betis against Girona. He got pocketed against Bournemouth. Arsenal also pocketed. No, that's Gyökeres. We're talking about Isak. Forest, I could name it. Yeah, exactly. That is the biggest thing. Isak, he can score against us because we push ourselves forward. And Isak, the best usage of Isak is on counter-attack. Because he's fast, he can play on the wing if necessary, he can drift out wide, he has decent tech for being such tall and lanky player, and he has a very decent shot on him. So if you give him place to run, to pick up pace, to dribble with the ball at his feet and run defenders, he's very good, very good. And obviously if you catch defenders on the back foot basically on a counter, if you put in a first time whipped cross, low driven cross, more chances than not he's gonna get at the end of it. Arsenal never get these opportunities pretty much. We always play against Park the Bus Merchants, so that definitely for Arsenal is not doing us any favors, if you ask me. Exactly. I'm not saying also that he's overrated, it's just he doesn't suit the way we play, let's just put it that way, because many players suit different teams because they play a certain way, and they don't suit other teams because they don't play that way. It's reasons why some players look like world beaters in smaller teams. They move to bigger team, they play completely different style opponents against them play completely different way. So hence they don't have the place, they don't have the room to express themselves and be actually available in that regard. In that regard. So time only will tell, but obviously for me it's Gyökeres, and after that, sorry, it is all on Bert and everyone. Semenyo should be brought on board as Gyökeres. Hold on, what? Semenyo is a winger, not a striker. I'm kind of confused. Semenyo also, Bournemouth want about 65 million for Semenyo. Seems hella overpriced, I'm not gonna lie. 65 million for Semenyo seems hella a lot. Semenyo is a winger, I get that. Arsenal need those. Backup for Saka technically, but we need a left winger as well, especially if we let Trossard go. But Semenyo as well, 65 million for Semenyo, if you can trust the rumors and reports, also seems hella overpriced for such a guy. For me. Again, no offense, but it's too much. Semenyo don't play. Yeah. Why would Sporting sign Semenyo? They have Harding as well. Yeah. We are winning the Champions League. Championship? Wait, hold on. Championship. You support Leeds? Or do you mean Champions League? Then I get it what you're on about. But yeah, to be honest, I have a dream. I have hopes. I have genuinely hopes. Obviously, it could be squashed in one game against PSG. And our defense definitely is going to get tested against PSG, because the game we played against them in Champions League group stages, well, league stages, right, will be a completely different game to that. Right? So, definitely will be very interesting. He can also play as a forward. So, in that regard, I much rather sign Buemo or Visa. But those, again, not sure Brentford are going to let go. I always believe what with Arteta, things tend to... Exactly, that is the biggest thing. With Arsenal, and specifically with Mikel Arteta in recent times, they dangle the carrot in front of you, and in the last second they just yank it away, and you are left with just expression like... Yeah, Champions League, I get it. I'm just basically just fooling around in that regard. But yeah, I think on that note we have covered everything for today. If you haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, hit the like button, of course. Leave your thoughts down in comments below if you're watching this as a playback. Arsenal play on Wednesday, obviously, 8 p.m. kickoff. So tomorrow we will have a preview for that. We will look at some other things, bits and bobs here or there. But yeah, for today, that will be it. So take care, stay safe, have a nice evening, enjoy day tomorrow. See you all tomorrow. Thank you for everyone who dropped by, who liked, commented, subscribed, hit the like button and everything. And see you very, 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 very soon. Big up everyone. Peace.